Morning, everybody. Well. What are we gonna do today? It's wet, overcast day outside. It may not look too bad, but it's overcast. It's dark. I'm doing okay. I'm not having any problems. But tomorrow will be a little bit nicer. At least it'll be warmer, but it'll still be overcast. But hopefully tomorrow, me and Krista can do something at Cumberland Farms in the morning and put that up as a morning show. We'll see what happens. I gotta get Rusty in the house. He's outside. Hold on a minute. Hold on. I gotta get Rusty inside. He's outside. I don't think he wants to be in the rain. Just came in. Going to his breakfast dish. Okay. Oh. So he's in the house, guys. There he is. Oh. So here's the cat. The situation right now is the weather suck. I don't know where I could bring to. So not much to talk about. Let's start with Sikorsky Aircraft in Connecticut is laying off 400 employees. Sikorsky is known for making military and commercial aircraft for businesses, police departments, and things like that, as well as the military. Rusty, will you stop nuzzling my monitor around all the time? Yeah. I'm going to switch over to Galaxy Cam. Alright, so wrong button. There we go. He insists he wants his attention first, so that's why we usually use the outside in the show. Because he has a habit of taking over the entire studio when he gets in here. Come on. So the yes, I know. DEFCON level. I don't know much about that. But let me tell you what I do know. Several lawmakers in Congress are alarmed that the USDA has sent grant money to researchers who in China are trying to make a more lethal version of the bird flu. Now, I don't understand why you would even need to do this. Why do you need to make something that's more lethal that's going to kill the chicken and poultry industry? Um, um, so, well, I don't know about that, but 72-hour live stream for Anderson Henderson. What is he trying to do? Is he trying to go for the Guinness World Records? I mean, no, I don't deny that. But theoretically speaking, my ancestors came over from Africa into Europe. And we've been born and raised and had families on the European continent for thousands of years. And then eventually, around the 1920s and 30s, my family migrated over to the United States. We came into Ellis Island. Yeah, there's your word. There's your secret. They don't work. I mean, they don't or have a job or a family to take care of. The average person is not going to sit through a 72-hour live stream. It's just not feasible. Oh, but we do have an update. We will redo. This is from J-Mac Oregon. We will redo today at 5 o'clock. Because yesterday, he didn't have a helper on We Will Wednesday. So today is We Will Redo. We will redo. So, keep that in mind. You can still win your Starbucks gift cards of choice. You can still get your favorite beverages. If you're winning a lucky meal to win a $5 gift card from Starbucks, today is the day to do it. Couldn't be any better day, considering in fact it's overcast, it's rainy, and it sucks outside. Yeah. Well, on the wire, there's always skilled labor needed for some jobs in this country, particularly in the industries that are not traditional desk jobs. What are you gonna do? Oh, we're gonna go ahead and get the announces up. Oh, okay, yeah. So we will redo. I like the way you say that. We will redo. Yeah. So there's not a lot you can do about the economy right now. Biden and his friends have done exactly what they wanted. They destabilized the U.S. economy. That whoever gets in office next is going to have an extremely hard time undoing the damage in 4 years. Maybe 10. But within 4 years, I don't think so. Well, Noodles, if you want to talk about that letter you got in the mail from the city of New York, we could talk about that on panel. Panel's open. What? I'm detracted. What does that mean? Well, anyway, a panel link is open, so anybody wants to come up, it's IDN. The three magic letters of the link are IDN. Okay? So, because I like really, the panels really make the show go much better because the rapport is what makes the show really, really shine. People don't realize that. Because I know it's not the most popular thing in the world. Good morning, Krista. So tomorrow the weather is going to be a high of 15 degrees Celsius. It's going to be overcast. It's not going to rain. Okay, so let's come up on panel. It's Noodles himself. Let's get him up here. Go ahead, Noodles. How you doing?
Hey, Michelle. How are you?
I'm doing okay overall. It's kind of a soggy, wet day. It's not really exciting. There's not really anything major, good or bad, happening for me. I'm just hanging in there.
Same here. So this morning I wake up, I watch this channel called New York Prepper. He had a recording of a broadcast from the United States military stating that they're going to DEFCON 2. And the last time I think in the United States we saw DEFCON 2 was during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Now, why I believe this is a big deal is because on Monday, when I was in Manhattan, I saw several unmarked vans, white vans, with two National Guard reservists in each van. The reason why I knew they were National Guard or New Jersey National Guard was because of the patches and insignia that they had. My question is, why was New Jersey National Guard in Manhattan? And then the other thing is, reports are coming.
I think the original reason they were there was because the issue with the violence in the subways.
Right, but New Jersey National Guard has nothing to do with New York.
Right, well, I understand that.
My other thing is, there was reports coming out of Iran that the leadership of Iran have fled. They don't know where, but they're in hiding. And also on the West Coast, going out to the Midwest, communications have been shut down to several states regarding emergency services. Right. They don't know what's going on.
And also several radar sites have been shut down, affecting our air supervision of the skies above the United States. Several blackouts of radar towers.
Right. There was an attack recently on multiple water utility companies in America or in the United States, and Sandworm, which is a Russian hacking group that works for the Russian government, is claiming responsibility for this. And my question to everybody is, now that we know this is happening, and now that we know that they're doing this on purpose, what do we think about the Key Bridge incident? Do we really think that was a,
Well, all I know is right now is what the civilian population is probably more familiar right now with, is we do know about the instability between China and the U.S. and a few other organizations that are clearly anti-U.S. But they also notice the more they're getting hit in the pocketbooks because of the fact that many stores are closing in storefronts, from Target to Walmart to even Dollar General.
Yeah. That's, you know what? I thought about that last night, Michelle. If stores like Dollar General close down, what will the American public who are suffering the citizens who are suffering as financially, what will they fall back on?
I
I mean, think
see
about it.
people suffering now, because prices have gotten up so much in these stores, even the Dollar Generals, that they used to have. The general rule was everything was under $5 for a while, and then just recently they upped it to, slowly introducing new items that are $7, and people can't afford that on fixed incomes. The fixed income community is particularly being hit the hardest. And of course, they're also the most vulnerable, including the elderly, when they can't even guarantee that they can pay the rent, as landlords increasing rent all over the place because the landlord's own costs are going up.
Right. And as of yesterday, me being served by the Port Authority, I'm starting to realize something. New York City is struggling right now to gather up as much money as possible.
Yep.
I don't know for
Yep.
what.
Yep.
They're trying to milk fucking whoever they can for as much as they can. They're adding new tolls in Manhattan. They are fining people who shouldn't be fined. It's getting out of control. $11.99 a pound. $11.99 a pound for steak in Michigan now. $11.99.
Oh yeah. And the problem is because of all these higher costs, people are starting to really become very, very concerned because they don't know how they're going to be able to pay it. And then, of course, Sikorsky is going to be laying off 400 employees. Now, that's a pretty major deal because Sikorsky Aircraft makes a lot of the helicopters used by the military and some government agencies. So where all those 400 employees going to get jobs when there really isn't any?
Right, and the other, Michelle, I have 401k with Raytheon. That 401k has been hemorrhaging money for the past few years. Raytheon's not doing good. Raytheon is a major player in technology with the federal government, and I don't know what they're doing with my money, but I'm telling you right now, I'm losing thousands and thousands of dollars each quarter, and I don't see it getting any better. The only thing that I can see happening is maybe a major war where these companies will actually bounce back and become profitable, but that's a humongous problem. If companies like that, Michelle, are going under, they are praying for a war. That's what companies like that are doing right now.
Yeah, because they're the major manufacturers of war equipment. Same thing with Boeing. Boeing right now, with the issues with the 787 Dreamliners, and their plug door issues, are plaguing Boeing, and they're not making as many airplane sales because, one, they're expensive. Well, any plane is expensive, but especially if you're going to be buying planes from Boeing or McDonnell Douglas or whatever, those cost a lot of money. And if you happen to be a possible buyer of aircraft for an airline, and you have to decide if you're going to be paying, say, $2 million for a plane like a 787 Dreamliner versus, say, $1 million for a used McDonnell Douglas commercial grade jet. I mean, which would you rather pay?
Right. You know what it is, Michelle? It's not that it's expensive. It's just that people don't have the money to pay for anything.
Right. You don't have the money, so they're looking for the bargains. But like I said, with the Dollar General store, which is where most of the low-income shop, same thing with Family Dollar, same thing for Dollar Tree. What's next? Once those stores are gone, the low-income people are going to be SOL. They're not going to have a place.
You're going to see a lot of lines outside churches, outside food kitchens, pantries, and stuff like that. And once all that stuff goes, I don't know what the.
Well, right now, Torrington has another problem. Their director of the soup kitchen has been indicted for fraud. And so the soup kitchen in Torrington is closed during the investigation, and they have no director right now. So, where are the homeless going to get their meals?
You know what happens with that, Michelle? Because this happened at the VA in Manhattan. It's when everybody knows they're getting ripped off. Nobody cares until they have to start counting the pennies. Once they start counting the pennies, they want to push this off on someone else. So, for instance, in Russia, they know about all this mass corruption. They know exactly what everybody's doing, and when push comes to shove, that's when they start prosecuting people.
I don't know. Water wants to know more about the Torrington Soup Kitchen. Apparently, the director of the Soup Kitchen, Lisa, when people would come in to do probation, she would basically say, "Give me a gift card, and I'll sign off on the paper saying you completed your probationary requirement." The result is, of course, she was caught doing this, which is illegal anyway.
Very 100%. You can't do that
because she didn't. Actually, people did not do the complete community service requirement. And so, being she's the director of the soup kitchen, she was rightfully arrested and is facing criminal charges and maybe even civil charges. So I don't know why Lisa did that, but they had a better manager some time ago. I remember the last one they had, which was a nice lady. The board got rid of her because I guess she didn't want to do certain things that the board wanted to do, which she thought was unethical. So she was fired. Then Lisa came in, and then Lisa has been running all these kind of. This particular thing is the thing that basically got her locked up in a criminal case. But still, now there's no soup kitchen in Torrington. Now, this is where Carrie and Winston could seriously step up to the plate and say, "Okay, people, we're opening the Winston Soup Kitchen. We gotta feed all the Torrington people." Well, I don't know if Carrie's gonna do that, because right now, there's no place for the homeless to get a meal. I mean, yes, you can go to a food bank if they had any food available. But food banks are not getting donations either. So
they've done this. They've done this before, Michelle, in New Jersey with the police departments. They just shut down these police departments, and what they do is they have the state take over. So if there's any kind of corruption or something like that, usually the state will take over.
Yeah, but the state is just as corrupt as the organizations. In the case of soup kitchens, these are 501c3s. These are not government operated. Okay? So I don't know what the state could do unless they want to start doing what the state of Connecticut's already been doing as a sanctuary state anyway, and trying to feed and house and house and clothe all these people. I don't even know how they're going to be able to do that. Right now, in my own situation, my rent has gone up officially in May to $1,000 a month. Now, I'm not stupid. I mean, in a sense, I'm well aware that my landlord's costs have gone up. I have empathy for the guy. I understand his situation. But at the same time, I think that $1,000 is a wee bit high for me. I can pay it for now, but for how long? Remember.
Why do you say you can pay it for now? Because you have money saved up?
I got enough money coming in from my Social Security to pay it. And I do get money saved up too. But the thing is eventually I'm going to run out of extra funds. And right now the donations have dropped down a lot. And what used to be mostly for extra spending money is becoming very much more and more important to have as a revenue source. And I don't want to be considered an e-beggar or a dry beggar. I'm just trying to hold my shit together. And me and several people have looked at housing available. There really isn't very much available in my price range. Not in Connecticut, anyway. We have looked in other states.
Well, Michelle,
Massachusetts might have some
let me ask you
leaks.
a question. Serious question.
Go ahead.
Do you think there's a possibility that you can end up homeless again?
I would say it's about 35% given right now. Yes, I'd say it's possible. One false move, one missed payment, whatever, evictions will begin, and they'll probably end about here in less than 30 to 60 days, considering the fact that I'm registered blind. So yes, evictions are a real possibility. Yeah. She wanted.
Have you been talking to anyone else in your apartment buildings? Like, has anyone else talked to you about this? Or
No, most of my tenants don't even talk to me.
yeah.
They don't even really talk to each other either. So, but I certainly do know people that do know people in the building that are talking, and they're seeing the same rate hikes, and they're a lot of them. Like I do know the people in 7, and they're struggling too. So I don't know what's going to happen in the long run. Is the homeless population is already exploding in this country. But if you're registered blind and you're homeless, you're good as dead. You're not going to be able to make it on the street because unless you're very lucky, chance of me surviving out there in the wilds of the main streets of America is like slim to none.
So this is again, I don't know about Connecticut, Michelle, but with Slingshot Warrior, okay,
Yeah.
he's down in Maryland. Because of his Asperger's, they're giving him a very nice place to live, Michelle.
Right.
He's entitled to 130,000 or 150,000 a year if he gets involved with this program, where people will come and pick him up. They'll drive him to dentist appointments, doctor's appointments. This stuff goes on and on and on, Michelle.
Right. Well, we used to have some things like that here in Connecticut, but because it costs, a lot of these programs were cut years ago. And so now, because of sanctuary state status, everything that would have been going to the residents of Connecticut that are here legally are going to all the illegals. And they're absolutely getting the programs that should have been entitled to people in Connecticut that were born and raised here.
Michelle, I'll be right back, okay? I gotta go check
Right.
something. I'll be right back.
Maryland's possible. I don't think there's anything wrong with Maryland. Anybody wants to help me do some research in Maryland? We could do that. I'm just gonna check to see how we're doing here. Dollar sign wise. Because this is a very disturbing topic, and it's good right now. Let's take a commercial break while Noodles does what he has to do, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. And I would like to see if we move to Maryland. Well, let's see what happens. Maybe you know more about Maryland than I do, Tiger Kitty. If you want to help me do some research in the Maryland programs, or even just regular rentals. I mean, I can rent an apartment for $800 a month. However, I'll be honest, Connecticut doesn't have any rents like that cheap anymore. They really don't.
Maybe what we got to do is talk to Justin about how he got on this aid. I mean, Michelle, the guy's got this is what the state's giving him. All right, a 2-story condo. All right, kitchen, 2 bathrooms, 2 rooms. Okay, a living room and a backyard.
Okay.
I mean, Michelle. I mean, I don't understand how you don't have this. In my opinion, you're more disabled than he is.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know why either, because, like you said, ever since I got after high school, I have always gotten a shaft from the state of Connecticut over and over and over again. the programs that a lot of people talk about, I applied for and I never got them. It's almost like I said before, like I have a curse on me. I can't figure out why the system keeps passing over my applications. It just does. So that's one of the reasons why.
Because Michelle, I really think it's because you don't have an advocate pushing for you. I think you need to get some kind of legal aid, and somebody's got to be there for you as the advocate. So, what I noticed with Justin when we were dealing with legal aid, they weren't responding to him through
Right.
phone calls.
I had the same problem.
Right. So as soon as I called Michelle, they called me back in 15 minutes.
So
Okay. You might need someone to call for you and get everything set up. And that's why I really think you need to get an advocate to help you, Michelle.
well, you feel like dealing with it for me? Maybe you can help me straighten out with the different agencies in Connecticut. I do have the number for the Connecticut Legal Rights Project if you want that.
We can do that. But first I need you to document that you have called them and they haven't called you back.
Right.
And then once you do that, I will call them and say, hey, listen, I have a friend out in Connecticut. I'm representing her, and I need some information because she's trying to reach out to you. You guys aren't getting back to her.
Oh, I can certainly give you the landlord's letter from his attorney about the rent increase. I can give you that. And I can.
No, I need you to reach out to these people, Michelle, and show that you have reached out to them, asking for help in response to maybe getting a housing or whatever.
Right.
And we need to also get you an advocate, like a real advocate.
I even asked my medical team if they can give me an advocate, and they said they have none available right now because their caseloads are full. So how am I supposed to get an advocate if the caseloads are full? I can't. I mean, that's the first thing I'm running into. There's just so many needing help, and they don't have enough caseworkers to help all those people that are needing help. I'll give you the numbers list, Tiger Kitty. I will take a snapshot of it and put it in the Beautiful Women of YouTube so you can have it. Because there's nothing confidential. Because my medical team gave me the information of different agencies originally for counseling. However, on it is a Connecticut Legal Rights Project. So what we can do is I'll post that out to the women's group. And we'll see how that goes. And that's just it. I'm not sure who to ask. See, because this is why it's so frustrating. Because I don't know if I'm chasing my tail in the wrong places or because of my hearing loss, if I'm getting into problems with misunderstanding the instructions. Justin would be a great help. But right now, he's not here on the show. Let's see. Make sure I get the right one here. Yes. I have a list here originally of counselors, but one of the places is Mental Health Services is Connecticut Legal Rights Project. And the Homeless Outreach in the Northwest Center for Family Services and Mental Health, and Catholic Charities, Sharon Hospital, Senior Behavioral Hospital. See, this all started originally for a list of mental health providers, but you'll notice the Connecticut Legal Rights Project is down there for homeless support services. So what we need to do is I will take a snapshot of this, and I will submit this to you guys in the women's group. And this is really just heartbreaking because people are right now. I'm not the only one, but I know when it seems like in a crisis, you seem like you're the only one. But you got to keep that in mind. You're not the only one. There are a lot of people asking the same questions. What am I going to do if I can't pay $1,000 and Jimmy doesn't want to negotiate? I'm talking about for long term. Or, do I pay it? Do I leave? If I leave, where do I go to? I have responsibilities. I have a cat. I have to take care of him. I have to make sure I get access to my medical people. I will. Inflation started with 10 stimulus programs. It used borrowed money to pump. Yes, it did. Unfortunately, you're right. It did use borrowed money. But the one thing that is not helping any is that Biden opened up the floodgates for the illegals to come into this country. And now they're demanding all the services. In fact, just recently, the illegals were protesting in New York City Hall, claiming that they wanted better rights and they wanted protections and from having their stuff stolen from the shelters. It's crazy. It's out of control. It's unbelievable how we got into this mess in the first place. I can't even begin to understand how that works. How you doing, Dabs? So let's cover what we do know. Here, is there any legal protection to me? Yes, I can do. If I had a working printer, I can send a letter to my landlord and make it official. Well, obviously, I'm going to be telling him in person, say, look, Jimmy, I cannot pay you $1,000 a month. I mean, I can't. Maybe I can do May. That's it. You're going to have to work with me $900 a month. You got to fix the ceiling in my kitchen. Okay, we already worked on the floor. The floor is done. You don't have to worry about the floor. I know it looks like a poorly done job, but it is at least much safer. We need to fix the ceiling in the kitchen. Minimum. But even then, the apartment isn't really worth any more than $900. Okay? I don't see how you can expect to get $1,000 a month. It's a third floor. It's, yes, okay, heat and hot water included. That does add to the value. But the sad truth is, this building needs a lot of work, and you can't do it. It's going to cost you way more money to renovate this building than you can afford. Now, why does he want the money so bad? Because he's having his own financial issues. And so he's trying to deal with that too. So just it's sad. But yes, the stimulus checks were indeed paid for by borrowing money from other countries. And but at the time, it seemed like an option that made sense. The rental protections that were afforded during the time of the Big C did make sense because employers were closed down. And a lot of people didn't have a choice for housing. Unfortunately, a lot of them took advantage of the program who really did not need it. And with the eviction protections, the landlords couldn't do anything about it. How you doing, Matt? Good morning to you. Good morning. Yeah. So that's where we are now. But I wish the sun would come out. I wish it would stop raining. Oh, yeah! I wish it would warm up just a little bit. Oh, yeah! Maybe I wouldn't feel so down and sad. Let's big facts. Trump reduced green card and illegal immigrants did not reduce illegal immigration. Yeah. Right. But what Trump was doing was more proactive than what Biden's doing. Biden is not even being active at all about the issue. That's all I can say. Ottawa and Biden continue inflation. Yeah, they have. And now it's going to be worse right now than the Great Depression. It already is starting to become a thing. It really breaks my heart because I don't even know what would be the best way to solve it. Just like I said to Lumi in the bathroom yesterday, I said, how in the heck are you going to be able to straighten out this problem? It ain't going to be straightened out in 4 years. You might be able to make a dent in it in 10, but in 4 years, I don't think it's going to work. I'm super sad too. That's okay. I appreciate your empathy. I really do. I want to say thank you for your support. I do appreciate that. I mean, as far as, Stan asked me a valid question. He said, why don't you do members-only videos and members-only live streams? Well, last time I tried to do a members-only live stream, all the trolls got all mad because they couldn't be part of it. I really think I'd like to see a members-only live stream. Because those who truly understand my situation realize I do want to make some content for the members too. My point is people like to blame one president and another. You're right, they all are. They all are. It's not one person's fault. In the case of your prime minister or the president of the United States, it's the guy or gal that gets all the fingers pointed at them. Like, in the case of the president, well, you're the one who signs the legislation that passes the House and the Senate. So, whatever the Senate comes up with and the House comes up with, more than likely he's going to say yes or no to. But the problem is, the House and the Senate lately haven't been able to even come up with any kind of long-term plan that makes any sense. They're divided. And remember what it says. I believe it was Abraham Lincoln who said this, although it was originally quoted in the scriptures. A house divided amongst itself cannot stand. If you can't get the House and the Senate, which the House is right now currently Republican, the Senate is primarily Democrat in charge. What's going to happen is no legislation is going to come through. The president's not going to have anything to sign. Problem's going to keep kicking that can down the road. But just like Lumi said, what are you going to do when you run out of road? You can't kick the can down any further. You're going to end up kicking into the weeds. The dead end is straight ahead of you, and you're still kicking that can. We're going to have to deal with the problem. And I don't know how we're going to be able to fix it. Biden tried to pass the most intense immigration policy to date. And I don't know anything about what his policy was. If you would like to send me a link to his original proposal, I'll look at it. Good Lord Mojo, how you doing? Oh gee, how you doing today? So I mean, yeah, it's easy to say, you know, pick one person and put all the blame on them and say it's all your fault. But the truth is, it is many, many factors. It's not just one person. I agree that it's unfair to pick on that one poor guy or gal, which happens to be stuck in the wrong place and really just doesn't have much they can do about it.
Oh, yeah!
But the problem is the other people that are also responsible are not actually seriously looking at the situation and saying, look, put political differences aside. We have to come up with a solid plan that works. I mean, because I would like to see, when Trump was in charge and when Ronald Reagan was in charge, while neither one of their presidencies were exactly a perfect panacea, you can't say that we were doing too bad. I mean, when Reagan took over for Jimmy Carter, here's the difference between Jimmy Carter and Biden. Jimmy Carter was a knowledgeable guy. He knew a lot. He was educated. Unfortunately, having all the brains in the world doesn't help if you can't lead. Or you don't totally understand how to begin to work with other people and solve the problems. That's why Jimmy Carter failed. It wasn't because he willfully wanted to destroy everybody's lives. So Ronald Reagan came in. He started realizing how he had to begin to work at undoing a lot of issues that was causing inflationary trend. He worked with his advisors. He worked with his team to try to come up with something that worked. And we call it Reaganomics. And it did work. Unfortunately, in the end, it was the rich guys who got all the money. We don't really know that, right? Big banks, big stock companies, yeah, they were the ones who get the money in the end. But the American consumer still did benefit from Reaganomics. Okay? Donald Trump is also big business, of course, and but here the difference is, he's a little more understanding about the lower income. But even so, under Trump, he still was kind of doing the same thing. But the difference was, just like Reagan, it was helping the economy. People felt good. People felt proud to be an American. People felt like the systems were great. Like he said, we're going to keep winning and winning and winning and winning, and one day you're going to say, Mr. Trump, please stop. We're sick of winning. We all know that was not the case. People weren't getting sick of winning. They were happy. But then this other event, the Big C, came and it totally kaboshed all his plans. I don't know what to say about the Big C, except the fact is that it was kind of an interesting place to put it. And I do not think it was an accident. Sorry, but not sorry.
I mean, Michelle, I got a question for everyone. I mean, if these people vote, I don't know if anyone votes here. I don't vote, so I assume that there's some people that don't. But if you vote for Biden again, what are you expecting out of the next 4 years? Just out of curiosity.
Let's see. So assuming that there's some, you want to know what do I expect in the next 4 years?
Yeah, so like let's say you vote for Biden, Biden wins. What is everyone expecting from this guy in the next 4 years,
Nothing.
or another four
Nothing's
years
going
of
to
presidency?
change. Nothing's going to change because Biden himself has even said that his mind is going. He's even said that. He has handlers that are doing and giving him the scripts. They're telling him how to rule. But right now the problem is that with the divided House and Senate, no legislation can pass.
You know what drives me crazy about that, Michelle, is that basically we've elected a president that cannot think on his own and who's
Right.
being influenced by others. How do we know who those others are?
Right. We don't.
Like it just yeah, it just seems like it's a guy who can be bought and sold all day.
Whereas with Trump, while he did have a team, he was actively aware of what was being decided on. He was part of the decision-making process. Biden doesn't even do that. They probably have their powwows when he's sleeping. And then they come up with the bill, and there's the attorney says, Mr. President, you're going to talk about this. You're going to sit here. The Prime Minister's going to sit here. You're going to talk about this on these cards here. And so all he's doing is just reading a script like an automaton. He's not actually really going, well, I really don't think I like the way this is written. Let's change this. He's not that involved. Where Trump was more involved with that. He was like, more actively looking at the problem. And he has gotten into, arguments with his cabinet. He has replaced a couple cabinet members in his term. I'm telling you that we don't do Biden if he remains in another 4 years. If he's still alive in 4 years, I mean, he's an old man, but then so's Trump.
Well, let me ask everyone a question too.
Okay.
In those 4 years of the Trump presidency, what did Trump do to complicate your lives? So, for instance, we had Antifa, we had Black Lives Matters, we had COVID.
Right.
What problems did Trump cause in your life in those 4 years?
Well, he didn't cause them, but Antifa and BLM particularly didn't like him because he didn't represent the smaller guy. I mean, to them, they were pushing this, race theory, critical race theory, because they felt that the Republicans don't have any idea of what the black people want or need, which is totally incorrect because Trump was more than willing to work with the black community, and he did work with the black community. But these organizations saw any kind of a central government authority as something to be despised.
Yeah, I just don't get it. Like, I don't understand. Like, I mean, we weren't involved in any wars. We were trying to put up a border wall. You know what I mean? And I mean, the economy was great.
Yeah, it was.
Everybody was making money. Things weren't so goddamn expensive, whatever. And
prices of houses were reasonable. I was, even for me, in my economic bracket, I could have had a money down payment for a house. The price for mortgage interest rates were reasonably low. And there were jobs. There were jobs for everybody. In commercial
Right.
and the government sector were working together with educators to get people into the American factories to make products.
Okay. So again, my question is, like, what are you guys expecting from Biden if you elect him again for another 4 years? I don't understand.
I don't even know why anybody would want. I don't think Trump attends. I think Well, I think, well, maybe, I mean, possibly. Let's be honest here, guys. You're on the President of the United States. You're on your feet all day. And Trump grandstands. And trust me, he definitely pulls in people in his rallies. Big time. Even now. Even more so. Because now, when all the evil stuff the Democrats are trying to do against Trump, they're actually going to defeat their own administration. Because Trump is now being seen as a martyr. And people are willing to back up for the underdog because they realize, in the case of Trump, is this man did nothing wrong. It's just like what happened with the crucifixion of Christ. What did this man do to deserve to be crucified?
He said, "Grab him by the pussy." That's what he said.
That's all he said.
I mean, come on. That's it's 2024. The world is at war. We're in DEFCON 2, and everybody's still complaining about him saying, "Grab him by the pussy."
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I'm looking at this at a whole different level. I'm looking at this as, I'm sure Biden may have said things behind the scenes because he was talking to a reporter and he thought he was off camera. You know, two men talking about locker room stuff, you know, like you might have, like if you're having a beer with with an acquaintance. I don't think he meant for that to become a major driving point.
Now, I got a question for you, Michelle. What do you, if Trump does get elected, his whole presidency for the next 4 years goes, whatever happens. Let's say it's the best presidency ever. What do you think the future is for like the next president? Because I'm having a feeling that this is a humongous setup for another Camelot nepotism, etc. I think one of his kids will run for president, and they're gonna elect this guy based on the fact just because his father was president. I mean, we saw it with Bush, we saw it with the Kennedys.
Well, let me tell you what I think is going to happen on a couple different fronts. From reality, economically, it's going to take a lot more than 4 years to fix this economic mess. Okay.
Right. So let's say he leaves the country hanging, and he says, "Listen, we got to stay on track. Vote for my son."
Well, there might be an option. I mean, after all, we had the Bushes, right? The father and then the son.
Right. And we had all the Kennedys that were in office,
Right.
etc. I mean, the nepotism, the whole nepotism thing gets played down in Washington, but I think that's going to happen. I don't think it's necessarily right. And in fact, if I was to pick someone to run for president right now, it would be like a Ron Paul type, or maybe even Rand Paul.
Right, but he's not. Neither one of them, as far as I know, are running right now.
Right, but my point is, like, someone like that, I think, would be appropriate for a president, the next president. But I think, like Out on the Wire said, it's going to be a humongous blame game, and it's going to be revenge. It's going to be another presidency about revenge. I mean, that's what the whole Biden administration's about right now.
The blame game has already been going on, but let's take a look at the reality. Let's break this down into different categories. First of all, negotiation with our adversaries. Trump had done something very unprecedented successfully. He sat down with North leader Kim Jong-un to discuss so many issues. Okay, in the DMZ. They had a chance to talk. No preconditions. Just let's sit down, let's talk about it. He helped to diffuse the situation between North and South Korea. And then it did heat up again, but that's not because of Trump. He kept things good with China and kept China on their toes. For one thing, China right now is seeing us as like becoming a big bully. They are bullying Taiwan. They are allying with Russia. Trump had managed to keep Vladimir Putin happy, and he did not want America to get in the middle of the Ukraine matter because it really wasn't our fight. But he said, I would go through and I would try to sit down both sides and come up with a solution that everybody could work with. Is Biden doing that? No. Biden's picking sides, funding one side, i.e., the Ukrainians against the Russians. And we don't have the money to keep funding out money to these countries. We don't have it. As far as the border control goes, we have to seriously curb our enthusiasm for illegals coming in here. We cannot afford it. Ask the city of New York how much it's hurting them. Of course, New York City decided to become a sanctuary city, and New York a sanctuary state. Same thing with Connecticut.
Michelle, what's going to eventually happen? Russia's already predicted this. Russia is playing a game now where they're just going to keep throwing troops in there. They're going to continue with their bombing campaigns, etc. What they're hoping for is that the Ukrainian military is depleted as far as forces go.
Yeah,
you can give them as many guns as you want, but they need troops. They need people moving them, etc.
right.
There was a statistic that came out that out of 126 troops, 30 of them would come out of a battle without having life-altering injuries, or they're dead.
Exactly. I mean, sure, now we're going to talk about this AI technology, the autonomous robot soldier. Well, that's great, but we're already having problems with AI in civilian applications. So would that really be good for us to have something similar to the Terminators running around on the battlefield shooting each other?
Is it going to be like a Terminator? I think it's going to be more like you're just going to send a bunch of drones out there, and it's going to be fucking,
Yeah, but Joe's need pilots that remotely fly them or program them anyway.
That you know of.
Yeah. The state is done. Let's say it says Newsom ruined California. Ain't no way he could win the presidency. Newsom is definitely not going to win the presidency any more than Ned Lamont would. I mean, right now I have not heard the governor of the state of Connecticut say he wanted to run for president, but if he ever did, I don't think he would have a chance any more than Gavin Newsom. Of the 3 C states, California, Connecticut, and Colorado.
No, Michelle. Anyone who's running for president right now knows they're going up against Trump, and they see it as a complete loss. No one's going to ask for donations or contributions and waste people's money. That this presidency is Donald Trump's. It's already signed. The only thing that the Democrats can do about this right now is kill him.
Yeah, that's but that might not even help him. Not really. I mean, look what Letitia James is trying to do. Look what Bragg is trying to do. In the criminal case against him with Stormy Daniels, which right now is probably going to be the most successful of all the so-called cases. If I don't know how that's going to work out with Stormy Daniels, but E. Carroll might maybe not get her full $86 million, but something tells me that all the other stuff that was done is just not going to work out. I mean, they tried to get him kicked off the ballot, the Supreme Court, and then almost unilaterally says, nope, you don't have the legal right to do that. Sorry, because that definitely sets a dangerous precedent. They tried to push in Congress because you got a split House and Senate. You're not going to get that bill to pass either.
You know what's crazy? You know what's really crazy? This guy's rich, right? He's got money. Yeah. He's got money for lawyers. He's got money for whatever. and you're seeing what the system is trying to do to this guy. Can you imagine if this guy didn't have any money to defend himself? Can you imagine?
We wouldn't even be there. It wouldn't even be. It would just be a greasy spot on the sidewalk.
Oh, absolutely. This is what your local
That's
and federal
why.
government
That's
can
what
do to
Letitia.
you.
That's what
And
Letitia
I think
James was
people
trying to do. She was trying to bankrupt him. That was what she was trying to do because
right.
she
So my
wanted.
point my point is, Michelle, is that people see this and they're seeing what their local and federal governments can do to people, and they would have no chance whatsoever. They want this guy to win, I'm telling you.
Ah, and this guy is going to win because everybody will, or at least most of us anyway, always stands up for the underdog, especially when the underdog is in a good fight. And let's put it this way, he is in a good fight. And people see that. Because just like Jesus Christ, they're saying is, this was an innocent man. Okay, Stormy Daniels was an innocent. As I said, they might get him for that, because that was indeed real. Alright? Maybe even E. Jean Carroll might get him on a civil case. But what they wanted to originally do was all false. Okay? But I do not see any other alternative for candidate right now.
Well, what exactly did he do to Stormy Daniels?
He supposedly gave her money to say nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I know that happens in business all the time. Okay. She accused him of doing sexual advances. And she allegedly said that he paid her money to say nothing. Well, did he? I don't know. I wasn't there. Okay? But Jean Carroll, I don't know anything about that case to say anything. Saying defamation or something having to do with that case. She wants $86 million in a civil case. He can pay $86 million. He's got $86 million. I mean, he could have just walked out there and cut her a certified bank check right there and say, "Here's $86 million, lady." But he didn't do that because he realized that she would be milking him for something that he didn't think he was rightfully charged for.
I'll be right back.
Okay. So what do you do? What do you do? I just think it's frustrating to see all this kind of stuff go on. But yeah, if he was just an ordinary guy or gal, say like me, why not? Use me as an example. Me against my adversaries. I'm not going to win. I'm going to become lunch meat. And even in my, negotiations with my landlord, I'm not likely to come out of this ahead. You know this, right? The chances of him going down to 900 are slim to none. It's like tilting windmills. What are you going to do? You don't have a plan. You don't have a prayer. You don't have a backup place to go. So you're going to end up basically doing what a lot of people do. You're going to end up just paying the tab. Because there's no alternative. Being homeless is scary. Really. It is scary. And if you are legally blind, you're lunch meat. You get out, you become homeless, you have no street smarts. You're not gonna live long. It's kind of like the song "Secret Agent Man." Odds are he won't live to see tomorrow. Absolutely. I mean, any bad guys on the street see a legally blind homeless person, especially a woman, they could take her down and take her stuff, even if it's just a few things and a cat. And that would be extremely devastating. So I don't even know how you would be able to protect yourself. Yeah, should be. How you doing, Courtney? I'm sorry I didn't say hi to you earlier, but welcome to the show. Always look like the deals. Yeah. Well, if you don't have any street smarts, you make it the homeless. Yeah. Well, right now, like I said, we have it covered for at least May. I don't know about June, July, or August. But we're gonna do our best to hold on as long as we can. The homeless love making other homeless stay homeless. Yeah, that's right. It's one of the reasons why the system that we're dealing with is so frustrating. Or you mean those booths like they have in Futurama? Thank you for coming to Stop and Drop, America's favorite unliver. I had to charge my phone. I'll talk to you later. Okay. Krista. Yeah. We need to come up with a better solution. I wish some of these politicians would take the time to reach out to the constituents and talk to them. Not like grandstanding like a town hall thinks. That's not what I mean. I mean like actually, on the phone at least, talking to their constituents and saying what is really going on in the lower income brackets. And then listening to us and also have us ask them questions. What are you going to do to protect the vulnerable people? The ones that, out of no fault of their own, are at the risk of falling behind. They won't do that. They won't do that.
No. Michelle, they only want sexy people doing sexy things, and sexy people get away with everything, Michelle.
And
you know
who
what?
can make
That's why I get away.
donations to the campaigns. It's money oriented. It's all money. The ones that
But Michelle,
can say,
have you seen Michelle? What's this guy doing?
which guy?
Sorry, this guy in front of me.
Okay. Oh, well, no, I can't see anything in front of you.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So anyway, yeah, like I was saying, Michelle, last night I did a shirtless, pantsless live stream just in my underwear, and people were going crazy. They couldn't get enough. Sexy people get away with murder, Michelle.
Yeah, and those with lots of green stamps.
Sometimes you don't need money. Sometimes you just need good looks, a great body, and the perfect amount of chest hair.
But you know what, just though? You do realize, right, that some of the so-called beautiful people are actually heavily surgically modified to be perfectly beautiful people?
Well, this beautiful human being is 100% natural. 100%.
Yeah, I remember Monica Lewinsky too. But, the sad truth is, guys, that the politicians, are only looking really for handouts, for donations to support the campaign. So they will say,
Michelle, do you know the gallons of juices that my body produced across the country last night when people were looking at me laying in the bed, completely topless and in my underwear.
I don't. I really don't know if I want to get into that, Noodles.
It was all juices and slime, Michelle. I guarantee you, gallons and gallons and gallons.
Well, I hate to tell you the reality, but your body can't really produce quite that much. Not in one sitting, anyway.
Right, Michelle. But if you get a bunch of people together that are juicing because of my my shirtlessness and my pantslessness, it can equal gallons and gallons and gallons.
Chris says, I make $1,000 or $1,200 on Social Security. I put away $400 a month. New York house. My house is a shack. My truck is a rattle trap, but I'm able to say. Well,
That
Chris,
sucks for you, Grizz, but not for me.
Good if you're able to put $400 away. But remember two things that you said. One, your house is paid for. And two, so is your truck. Right now, the problem with a lot of Americans is they're living on credit.
That's true.
And that alone.
And rotisserie chickens, Michelle. I mean, a chicken and eggs.
I understand that. But what I mean is let's take a look at the typical American person here. A single person, let's say single person about in the 30s and 40s. They're living on the credit cards and they're paying that monthly credit card payment every month.
That's true.
And then of course the car payment. And if they do happen to have a house, heaven forbid, they got that on top of that. And a lot of them right now are working jobs that really are either half-time, part-time, or just paying a minimum wage. So they're not really getting ahead. And rightfully, now, the millennials, I'm talking about the ones from the 1990s, 1980s.
Can I get a Big Mac with no lettuce?
Okay.
And a small Diet Coke?
Okay.
That's it.
Please cover your order. The total is $7.87.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Grace, I'm still trying to do that myself. I'm trying to work hard to get my credit card debts out of my hair. Okay? And so all the money I've been getting has been going towards the credit card debts. And now we have this situation, which means that less money can go to the credit cards because more has to go to the landlord. And that totally messes up everything I've been trying to achieve.
Sorry, I was just buying my lunch. I didn't have to go outside and kill it. You know what I mean?
Speaking of lunch, how much did that go up in cost?
It only cost. Hey, how are you? Thank you. It wasn't that expensive compared to where I usually go. It cost me about, for a sandwich and it cost me, thank you, $7.38.
Okay.
I mean, I know that's a lot, but you know, it's not as much as it used to be.
Right.
Or what I'm used to paying.
Well, I haven't been to McDonald's less than the last month to eat lunch there, but I will tell you, at $19.70 for the local McDonald's.
No,
for the same lunch that used to cost, even back in 2020, used to cost about $9.80. That's twice as expensive for the same lunch. And I mean, a lot of people go to fast food restaurants. We all know why. It's because it's inexpensive, or was at one time, then more or less expensive to get fast food than it was to cook a meal at home. Well, unfortunately, for some people, that's still cutting into their bottom line, and they know it, and they're frustrated. California had to raise their fast food prices because they made minimum wage $20 an hour. Well, yeah, definitely. And a lot of businesses in California are closing the shops, not only because of the minimum wage hike, but also in major cities because of crime. So California is really an example of, unfortunately, what happens in California does not stay in California, because it's going to slowly creep to the East Coast, and the same thing's going to happen. And it already is. The homelessness in California is occurring in other East Coast cities as well. New York City is a prime example of it. But they're not the only city with a homeless population explosion. Okay? So, it's a complicated problem that I wish I could say was a one, simple fix, but it's not. Me and Looney have done so many scenarios and asked ourselves so many questions about, if I was president, how would I fix this? The only way to come up with the answer is, you need to get everybody on board and working together. And if you can't do that, it's not going to get fixed. The mayor of Los Angeles, I said this yesterday, would like to see businesses and well-to-do residents of Los Angeles County to work together to provide the homeless with housing. There have been many people who have tried, but the state and the town itself's own health department has shut down these micro home productions. People were building little miniature tiny homes and were giving them to homeless.
You know what I would do,
Only to
Michelle?
have those homes destroyed and confiscated by the state.
I would start dishing out stuff to people who are sexy. Now, hear me out, Michelle. If your income was based on how sexy you were and how good looking you were, these people would pick themselves up and try to be the sexiest homeless person, or the sexiest garbage man, or the sexiest janitor, right?
Well,
and once you realize how sexy you actually can be, you can actually make more money, etc. And I think life would be a lot easier for a lot of people if they just.
Unfortunately,
you don't need college.
That wouldn't work under the Title IV of the Equal Rights, because a lot of people
we have to get rid of Title
would
IV.
be discriminated against, and that would be discrimination. So in reality, that wouldn't work. Okay.
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you think if there was just like all the homeless people out there were sexy, do you think anyone would care?
And those people that are homeless who manage to keep their beauty and not turn into a giant garbage can of stress, anxiety, worry, disease, they could have been easily probably found gainful employment working in an industry.
Right.
If there were jobs.
Sexy.
There's the magic word. If there were jobs, they could have already had jobs.
Now, as you know, I'm a solid 9.5.
I guess so. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But the point is,
as a solid 9.5, I don't think I'm making as much money as I should be making, being the sexy. I mean.
Yeah, but again, Noodles, like I said, the way. You have to remember what it says under Title IV and under anti-discrimination laws. We can't go by looks anyway, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Everybody has a different idea of what beauty is.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm just saying maybe we should get rid of that. Maybe Trump should get rid of it.
I mean, so which standard of beauty are you going to be going by? American, Western European, Eastern European, South American, Australian, Chinese?
Michelle, come on. You see beauty every day. You know it's beautiful. You look in the mirror, right? I think you're a solid 8, maybe 8.5. So I mean, why shouldn't you be getting that sexy money?
The point is, first of all, let's define sexy. What is sexy? I mean, is it totally symmetrical body and face?
You have.
Is it a face that is smooth like china, alabaster,
Which you have.
free of moles, wrinkles, and excessive body hair?
Jack, you got that?
I mean, is it the face that has the beautiful hair and the beautiful eyes?
Michelle, you got it all. See? You could be making millions and millions of dollars based off your looks if that's the way the economy was run.
But they don't.
Right.
I mean, people like that, they're already successfully, I mean, if they got a good brain on their head, already figured out how to get money from doing things like working in Hollywood. You know that.
Right. But Michelle, my point is that, you know, a company should just pick you up regardless if you know what you're doing or not based on your appearance. So, for instance, your sexy level is at probably about an 8.5. You could probably get it up to like a 9 something, you know, with a little bit of, routine or exercise. Maybe cut back on the soda.
Dabs in Connecticut, they do that, actually. I don't think it's necessarily across the board, but they do that with drug testing in Connecticut. So, yeah, it's a thing in Connecticut. And it's a reality that they are doing that in states now, more and more for the food stamp and entitlement programs. Let's see, anyone else says you're worth whatever someone will pay you. I'm shallow, looks help. Yeah, well, I understand that. Graham named her Pizza Tap because she wants to eat her.
I mean, Michelle, imagine if you walk into McDonald's, right? And you have to walk through a sexy detector, right? And your sexy scale is at like a 9.5. You know how much free food you can get?
But remember one thing, like I said, is beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You could take someone like Alicia Giordano, which is a relatively nice looking lady, and somebody could say she's just plain. You could pass her in front of a couple other guys, and the next thing she becomes a 10. So again, you would have to keep that in mind. What is it? Is she a plain 5 or is she a 10? Because eyes in the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Maybe you like the average, maybe you like your female neighbor down the street that's single. That's, just average. It's just not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, when we see average, we mean within 95 percentile. She's got good, her hair's in good shape. She smells good. She's got her complexion's fairly clear. She's got a good sharp mind. She's got nice eyes. She's got a good personality. I think personality counts too. You got to add that in there. And ideally, some people might say, well, does she have any intelligence? Does that count in sexiness? Again, that depends. If you are looking for a girl who's intellectual, that has knowledge, yeah, it does count. If you're not, well, you probably would just totally dismiss that as your scoring. So, man, you're not rinsed in the other platforms either. So, she pouts too much. Yeah, she does. Yeah, I didn't watch about the hitting, but I think there definitely is anger issues in her life, from I can sense it. But you're right, she pouts too much. I've seen that from me on her show. But the show isn't exactly like pout free either. And that's not even a joke. That's just reality. I try not to be so pouty, but the stuff that I see around me just makes me feel like the politicians, and they do not care. They do not care because they know that I don't have the money. for example, if I was in the same situation Donald Trump is in right now, I would be basically just a greasy spot on Bragg's sidewalk. There wouldn't be anything. There'll be nobody, no lawyers on my team fighting for me. There'll be no one on my staff going out of the way to go all of these court cases all over the country. I would be basically worn down, washed up, nothing burger. And that's the truth. Oh, I know. I get that. Behind every face is an evil mind, just like in Secret Agent Man, right? Behind every pretty face is an evil mind. Or it could be behind every face, could be an evil mind. Absolutely, I get that. But there's your pretty person example. It doesn't make them a good example for other people. Whereas the real unsung heroes are the men and women that quietly go through life every day, no matter all the curveballs that society throws at them repeatedly, and keep coming up the bat, just hoping to hit a home run. They get pushed down, put down, treated like dirt, abused, and yet they're still there fighting. You know, it's just like the song by Linda Ronstadt, written by Chris Christopherson. When will I be loved? When will I be loved? Or even the song Willing, which is a truck driver. He's still trying to get things done, despite the fact that they're running up to problems over and over again, yet they keep fighting. Oh, I know. Yeah, right, they don't even say hello. They're like, oh, you're beneath me. I'm not going to say hi to you. Oh, that's just a plain Jane. I'm not going to say hi to plain Jane. And then their attitude is like, oh, I'm better than you. You know what? No, you're not. Because it's just like Jesus said about the Pharisees. You do lip service, i.e., lots of lip service, but inside of your body is of a grave of a dead man. You are not actually a good example of a person that, because your mind is so, you're doing all these lip service and tummy tucks and eye lifts and chin lifts and all this stuff. But when you get to look inside the heart, they're like, there's nothing there. It's all so trite that they can't hold a conversation with you. While the woman that works hard working at the local 7-Eleven, trying to feed her daughter or her husband or her cat or whatever, and has a real world life outside of 7-Eleven and trying to raise a family, struggling with bills. I've been there. I've been in that situation. But I can go up to that lady when she's free and say, how you doing? And she'll talk to me. Say, oh, hi, Michelle. How are things going with you? And if she feels comfortable with me, she'll go into a little more detail and say, well, right now, I have to take care of my child's needs for getting ready for school and get clothes for school for my kid. And I'm struggling because I'm not working as many hours right now. Do you see? The point is, she's willing to be honest with you. Because she's going through real world problems. The Alicia Jordanas of the world, their latest worry is like, oh geez, do I go get a Starbucks coffee or do I go to another coffee shop today? Oh, should I go ahead and get the Frappuccino or should I get the Cappuccino? Their mindset is completely different. They're not even thinking in the same level. I have 6 watching on Kick. Thank you very much for the 6 on Kick. I really so much appreciate all of you there. All of you on Kick. I think it's wonderful we can actually have a show like this where we can talk about these issues. Because they're all real issues. They're the ones that actual, honest to God, every day, at least 90% of Americans are worried about. Because we're the ones that are not really getting much attention right now. I'm not gonna lie. Have you ever seen the news? It's always the headliners. Yes, Trump is one of them, but he's not the only one. The other headliners, these guys got money coming in from deals, book deals, but the average American person is never going to be on the news. They're the unsung heroes, the men and women that go through life every day, despite the oppression and difficulties. And they're still pushing and prodding and plowing through all the difficulties that they have to do one day at a time. I mean, I know it's easy to forget that, but it's true. The same is true on YouTube. Sure, I know there's a lot of good channels out there, and there's a lot of good channels that perceivably look like they're well-to-do, but I bet, except for some of them, a good portion of the YouTubers on YouTube are probably living with everyday concerns like debt and raising a family and paying the bills. And oh yeah, probably getting into debt because of all the equipment that they bought for the studio. These are the real guys. These are the real men and women. And it's time that they at least get some recognition for the effort that they put in. I want to continue to see more people get a chance to tell their story. Of course, you're probably saying is, yeah, well, we like to romanticize about having all this money and fancy cars and jewelry. Sure. But one reality is, how likely is it ever going to happen for most people? Most of us are never going to live like kings and queens. Because it's just not feasible. It's just not. What do you do? Live off credit cards for the rest of your life? What do you do when you max out the credit card? Oh, I gotta go get another one. And then you max that one out. That's not how you're gonna make it. It's unsustainable. But right now, because of the economy, that's exactly what's happening. People are doing that. They're like, I can't do it any other way. You're right. Because so many other ways are too expensive. I got 8 on Kick right now. Clearly what I'm saying is resonating with the people on Kick. They get it. They get it. They understand it. People are doing that. People are going out to saying, I need to get money for groceries to feed my family. I'm going to start a GoFundMe. It's not even a joke. It's a reality. People are struggling right now. GoFundMe in some ways has become like the modern version of panhandling. It's reality. And if you think having money is going to solve your problems, in the long term, probably not. Because what's going to happen is you're going to get the money, and then the next thing you know, you're going to go, oh, I got to use the credit card off. So let's say you owe a credit card, like I do. Let's say, like on one of them cards, I owe about $1,000, okay, which I do. I owe $1,000. So let's just say I put a GoFundMe out. It says, hi, I'd like to get some money to help pay off my credit card, please. It's $1,000. And let's just say you ran the GoFundMe, say, for 3 months, and you only get like $50. Okay, well, I get $50. So let's say I keep my promise. I use it. I send the $50 to my credit card company. Your APY, the annual percentage interest rate per year, is still 30%, 25 to 30%. Which means at the end of the first year, you're still going to be paying another $300 in interest. Now, are you getting ahead?
Oh, yeah!
Not really. Think about it. You are basically trying to empty the ocean with a teaspoon while someone else is filling up the ocean with a fire hose. You gotta remember that. And, of course, the same is true with others that you work with. Your landlord, landlady, internet provider, cell phone provider, assuming they're separate, okay? They're doing the same thing. And because they need to make more money, they're raising the prices. And when they're raising the prices, you got to pay more. And you pay more, but your income coming in is still limited because maybe you can't get a raise. Maybe you can't get a full-time job. Maybe you cannot find a better job. Which means what? More of your money is going out, but you're getting less. That's the reality. I mean, I know that's not a popular topic. So when you see these well-to-do people saying, oh, in the news, wanting these huge sums of money, what it is they're doing, that's not what the average American person is feeling. That's not the way America is. If you are an outsider of the United States, if you're an immigrant, or if you are just passively watching American media, you're getting the impression that America is all well-to-do people living in fancy, nice houses with nice cars. That's not the reality, folks. America has a whole nother class that very rarely gets any coverage in the media because they're not pretty enough. They're not attractive enough. And the media is saying is the story is not glamorous enough. No, it's not glamorous. It's the cold, hard reality of what's going on. So if you stick around Hollywood and you're watching all these people and all their fancy cars and big multi-million-dollar lawsuits and they're all in the tabloids, and you think this is America, you're only dealing with maybe the top 5% of American economies, not even the majority of the people below them. The average American is trying to raise a family, especially if she's a single mother or even a single father. Let's not forget them. They exist too, right? Maybe the mother, for some reason, wasn't considered suitable for raising the kids. Single parent. let's keep it generic. Single parent, you have a child in tow. You have to make sure his kid has school clothes. You have to make sure you have school supplies. You have to make sure you have enough money in the bank to pay your landlord each month. When he goes ahead and sends you a letter saying your rent's going up next month, and you gotta go figure out, how am I supposed to do that when my wage for my job has not increased? And I just found out from my employer that I'm going to be suffering a reduction in my hours. It's not possible. I mean, I wish people really, the news would take a look at the reality of what's really going on. But it won't sell. It won't get eyeballs. People will not read it. The news is sensationalism because it sells. It meets the advertisers. They love it. It's kind of funny because the way what the movie network, which came out in 1977, was talking about, is exactly what we're seeing now. This is exactly what the movie network was about. Ratings. Money. Money, 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 more money. Was the actor who played Howard Beale wrong? No, he was right. Flash forward from 1977 to 2024. This has become the network. YouTube has become the network. It's all we want to hear, sensationalism and great stories. But the reality is, people are coming in here to tune out because they don't have to deal with the reality, which is a landlord stuck a big fat eviction notice on your door and you have to pay the rent. And you don't have the money to do it. That's all what it is. I mean, so when a movie from 1977 is talking about the reality of what's happening right now in 2024, I think you need to at least give it some thought. And they also mentioned BLM and Antifa. They weren't called that in the movie, but BLM and Antifa, which was a communist party at the time of the movie, right? Same thing. We want rights for our people. We want rights for our people. They worked with the network to achieve it with UBS. So we say, we're going to cover your story. You plan these attacks, you do it, we'll cover your story, we sensationalize you, we get advertisers, and you get the press. Holy crap. Just think about that. It's happening in real life, too. Ever notice you see sensationalized news articles every day? Pick a network. It don't matter. They're all doing it. CNN, HNN, Fox News, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, CBS, even PBS. They're all doing it. Because they want your eyeballs to watch their network so they can make money from their advertisers. Yeah. Well, it's scary. It is scary. And like I said, let me try to figure out the answer to some of these questions and gave ourselves a headache. You can't really solve it with just saying is one person to fix it. Okay, so let's just summarize this. Whoever is president of the United States, if he can't get the House and the Senate to sit down and really look at the problem, it's never going to be fixed. I don't care if it's Republican, Democrat, Independent, Green Party, whatever. We need to keep that in mind. Right, exactly. And so it really doesn't matter if it's Trump or Biden or Robert F. Kennedy Jr., whatever, or even Nikki Haley. The truth of the matter is, if the House and the Congress can't get the House and Senate cannot come up with a legislation for the president to sign, there won't be no changes. A president can only do so much with executive orders, but unfortunately, it's not going to solve anything. If we can't get the House and the Senate to at least come up with legislation for him to sign, that makes sense. Yeah. So what do you guys think? What do you, as my audience, feel? I know what Rusty's thinking. Rusty's saying is, hey, Michelle, I hear ya. It's not very great in the cat world either. I don't know what exactly the problem in the cat world is, besides the fact that she's saying is, how about more scratches and pets? I need comfort too. I get ya. I agree with ya. Come on. I get it, Rusty. Come on. He's over here. This side here. The point I'm trying to say is, he keeps rubbing my monitor with his face. He's thinking the same thing. I mean, I know his mindset's a little simpler than mine, but he's still thinking the same thing. Well, what I gotta do as a cat to survive the craziness going on out there? Well, all I'll know is we're gonna keep working on it. Then we gotta find a way that works out. It's not just the United States either. Ladies, guys, look, the problem is global. I guess if you ask a guy in Bangladesh, or you ask a person in London, or you ask a person in some Scottish Highland town, what's going on? They're going to tell you the same thing. Things are a mess. They're not getting better, and no one's listening to politicians are out in left field. Yeah, they are. So what we need to do is we need to find a way to get all of our politicians to understand how their legislation and their policies affect the large majority of the constituents. I don't know how you're going to do that. There's so-called town halls. So many of them are so staged. Have you ever noticed a lot of them don't even really ask questions from the audience? You know why? Because they can't answer the questions that are being asked. That's the problem. Because they don't know the answer. And their organizers are afraid that people are going to throw them a zinger that they can't answer, immediately sabotaging the chance to run for office. If I was a politician, and I'm not, I don't think I have the patience to deal with it, and you came up to me and you asked me a tough question, I would tell you straight out the answer. And I wouldn't necessarily be afraid of worrying about my credit score or my ratings with the polls. If I really don't have an answer to the question, I would tell you straight out, I don't know what the best solution is. But I sure to hell damn would be looking for the answer. I mean, I want to so much see people happy. That's the reason why we need a president in power that makes, even if it's just kind of on the surface anyway, makes us feel better about ourselves. Anything that cheers us up a little bit is a major step in the right direction.
Oh yeah!
Even if it's just like putting on the equivalent of political lipstick, it still makes you feel better.
Oh yeah!
That's so important. Biden took that away too. I remember I remember 2020, after Biden was awarded the winner. All of a sudden, I felt all the psychic energy hit a big fat of all the Americans saying to themselves, now what? You know what? We're still suffering today.
Oh yeah!
So, all I can do is just tell you some good news. It ain't not gonna be much good news, but I'll tell you what I can to at least make you feel a little better for yourself. Here we go. We Will Redo is today at 5 o'clock on on JMac Oregon. Okay. You could win yourself a $5 gift card for Starbucks. Get yourself a coffee, a latte, a frappuccino, whatever you want. You got $5 extra for you. Okay? It doesn't cost anything to play, and get you a chance to meet up with other people. Granted, during the game, we're all focused on watching for winning numbers. But we do enjoy it, don't we? It's a good time.
Oh, yeah!
Of course it is. It's something that we all can look forward to every day when it happens. I don't know why I actually remember. The side chat is just as much part of the package. It really is. Some people on the side chat are actually listening to what I got to say because they realize that there's some negative truth here. Yeah. Well, you think that. But, I mean, come on, let's look at this, guys. We have, right now, 1 on Kick, which is fine. And we have 16 on YouTube, which is fine. 17 people. To say no one cares is kind of a very broad generalization. Because people do care. So let's see. Anything here? Any questions? Anything? We only had Noodles on the panel this afternoon. I haven't seen Carrie here yet, but that doesn't mean she not have been here. I just may have missed her. What do you guys have for questions? What do you feel? I mean, I'm sorry I haven't really had a chance to focus on you, but I really want to know what you feel. Let's go through the names of people that are currently here. You got Brian PC. Welcome to the show. Homeless Jim. Mojo Jojo. Nah, it's out on the wire. Tiger Kitty and Grace 270. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. And I want to say hi to Brian PC as well. I'm sorry I didn't see you there. Oh, there we are. Me too, Grizz, sometimes. A bit straightened in there a couple of times in my haste to set screws. Oh yeah, I can understand that. I'm only here for, I don't know what that means, but so Brian PC, like I said, welcome to the show. Like I said, I'm not trying to ignore the chat when I was trying to say what I was saying. But these shows are also a time when I can actually address things that are bothering me too. But I try to take the time to look at the side chat when I can. I had a bike crank fall on my foot once, and the finger caught in the brake. Ow, 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 ow. Not exactly fun. I'm a C, yeah. 54C. 48C. 44, 48. Michelle, hope you are well. Well, my landlord raised the rent to $1,000 a month, so unfortunately, we're going to have to try to get more revenue together somewhere. I have something together for May, because that's when the $1,000 a month kicks in, is in May. I do not know if I can get him to go down to 900. I'm going to try to ask him when I talk to him on rent day if we can renegotiate for 900. I'm good. Just men sharing man injuries. I don't know why I said that. The end of me swinging from my foe. I'll be in 4 broken ribs. Ouch. So other than that, I'm okay. So also the majority of the show now gets green dollar sign. So I've been making some more in AdSense revenue. Maybe not a lot of money, but we're holding on. We're holding on. So in that case, we're doing our thing. We're holding on. Grizz, yeah, I know you guys are talking. So, well, what I said is true. I'm just telling you what I feel. And, nothing you can do to fix them. Oh, you can fix ribs. Depending on the injury type, I'm not a doctor. I don't know the details, but they can do things for ribs. Yeah. Well, either way, what Michelle said is the way she feels things are, and she's not going to lie about that. The good news is it didn't involve anybody here in the chat. No one here in the chat is guilty of any of this. As far as Michelle would ever want to become a politician, no thanks. They usually do that. Most of the cases, depending on what kind of rib damage is done, but and it's not nice. It hurts. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, guys, here's the deal for the movie night for next week. I only have a movie right now in the queue, which is The Odd Couple 2. Not the original Odd Couple from 1968, although I put that in there too. That probably would do very well. After all, anyone who saw the original Odd Couple from 1968 knows it is a classic that became later the TV show with Tony Randall and Jack Klugman. And I think it was a good movie from 1968. But also add into that what was the story with the Odd Couple 2 was really kind of the same thing that happened to the original Odd Couple. Because now the two original actors are now elderly men and dealing with everyday elderly men things in the retirement community. Yeah. I'm having a ball, Michelle Levia. Thank you. Well, so the point is that, like I said, we're going to hold on for now and just hunker in the bunker for the time being. That doesn't mean that we're not going to look for housing, people. But it means that we're going to be looking for housing, but we're also going to realize that we cannot rush out there without a solid plan. Because once you slip, i.e., just like what happened in December 6, 2019, it's over. I've fallen, and I can't get up. That's exactly what will happen. Once you lose that sense of normalcy in your life, everything changes so much.
Oh yeah!
So once you become homeless, once you lose the one shred of modern humanity of having a place to sleep, eat, and excrete, that is your own little place, even if it's a rental, your world changes irrevocably. We'll have to see what happens, guys. We'll have to see what happens. May God have mercy on my soul. Well, guys, I was hoping more people would come up on panel, but I want to thank all those of you that did come to the show and all those who quietly watched in the background. I thank you for coming to the show every day. Tomorrow, me and Krista are going to go shopping. What we're going to try to do is have a morning show, or at least a video, at Cumberland Farms in the morning, because it's not going to be raining. At least it doesn't look like it's going to be, and it's going to be mild. So watch this space for something with Krista and me tomorrow morning at Cumberland Farms. Second of all, today is We Will Redo. No, We Will Redo, because yesterday, J-Mac's wife PDX was not available to help him with the We Will, and he couldn't find anyone else to help. So he scheduled it for today. At 5 o'clock Eastern Time, the We Will Redo. You can win, as I said earlier, you can win yourself a gift card for Starbucks for $5. It's a pretty good deal when you think about it. Okay, I know the coffee's expensive, but then again, get a chance to talk to your friends over a frappuccino, cappuccino, espresso, whatever drink you want. At least it's something to do. it's a fun time for everybody to get together, and all the different communities come in and hang out together. So I'll see you all today at 5 o'clock on We Woo Redo.
Oh yeah!
So for now, everybody, go out there and do your best to make your life a happy one. I know it's tough, but I think we can all do it. Amen. Amen. So go out there and make your life a little better. At least try. Maybe I help you up a little bit. Maybe you feel a little bit better. Let's go out there and try to make some difference for everybody. Bye-bye, guys. Bye, everybody.